In 2020, galaxies swallowing each other, and planets the solar system are conjugated, the planet Earth also experienced a crazy year. In the new COVID pandemic, more than 1 million people were killed, oil prices turned negative, and protests swept the streets. At the same time, it seems that in just a few months, 10 years of technological progress have been achieved. COVID vaccine development, and the vaccination rate has now reached a record high. Below, we summarize the top 10 events in 2020. 1. Australian bushfires. Australia has experienced a series of bushfires from September 2019 to March 2020. Because of the hot weather and dryness, uncontrollable wildfires occurred everywhere. The fires raged for nearly 80 days, and the total burning area has reached 46 million acres, which is larger than the total land area of the entire country, such as Cuba. Nearly 3 billion of animals migrated or were burned to death, causing devastating damage to biodiversity. 2. Escalation of the Iran-US conflict. On January 3, 2020, the U.S. launched an airstrike and successfully assassinated Iran's most powerful general, Qasem Soleimani. The drone attack by the United States was accurate to the minute. If not talk about who is right and who is wrong, nor about moral legality. All parties to a military conflict can do whatever it takes for their own interests. This assassination, for the United States, was a have to do. For Iran, it has lost an outstanding military commander. After the Iraq War, Iran's power expanded rapidly in the Middle East, and the influence of Iranian power has reached Syria, Iraq, and Yemen, and eastward to Afghanistan and Pakistan. Iran's status as a geopolitical power in the Middle East makes it inherently possible to dominate the order in the Middle East. Iran, which has acquired Central Asia, almost has the size of a quasi-world power. Iran actually violated the Obama-Europe-Iran agreement. This ignites an irreconcilable conflict with U.S. attempt to control the Middle East. The fact that Iran is rapidly expanding its power is absolutely unacceptable to the United States. Soleimani's assassination may have opened the prelude to the battle for the New World and New Order. General Soleimani is a symbolic leader among the Shiite forces in the Middle East. Networking and prestige can be said to be unmatched. His influence far exceeds beyond Iran. Even if Iran does not want the conflict to escalate, Iran cannot control the actions of foreign military entities. The death of Soleimani brought unpredictable consequences to geopolitics. 3. The ability of the new coronavirus to spread rapidly. The publicly reported cases of the new coronavirus began in January 2020, and soon people realized that the new coronavirus can spread rapidly. In South Korea, the number 31st confirmed COVID-19 patient quickly spread the virus to 1,160 other contacts in just a few days. The rapid spread of the new coronavirus caused the global economy to collapse. The S&P 500 stock market index wiped out a third of the market value in less than a month, which was the fastest 30% drop in the index's history. The global tourism industry has suffered huge losses. Numerous cruise ships anchored, entertainment and catering industries, airlines, cruise ships and casinos, hotels and resorts closed. With the mandatory implementation of administrative measures such as lockdowns, city closures and social distance, the lifestyle of a democratic society has been completely affected, daily life has stagnated, and commuting activities in major cities have plummeted. These mandatory administrative restrictions have also brought about some unexpected positive results, such as a sharp drop in the emission of nitrogen dioxide and other air pollutants, and the widespread use of remote social networking and technology. It is said that the number of visits to the digital porn industry has broken records, reflecting people's attempts to diffuse attentions to something else. Video conferencing tech and software are widely used in work, education and social activities. 4. Crude oil futures contract dropped to negative for the first time in history. On April 20, the crude oil futures contract fell to an astonishingly negative $37.63, and producers were actually paying traders to take away the oil in their hands free. Since many industries are affected by oil prices, the future impact of negative crude oil prices on each industry is unpredictable. Many related small businesses will go bankrupt. 5. The Black Lives Matter movement. On May 25, after George Floyd was killed, protests broke out across the United States, and more than 7,750 demonstrations related to BLM movement were recorded in 3 months. 93% of the protests were peaceful, but there were also armed conflicts, with images of car burning and police clashes dominating the headlines. In addition, the BLM movement has also triggered a global chain reaction, with reports of the BLM rallies all over the world, which is expected to affect the agenda of future human rights activities. 6. The dominant era of the big technology. Big technology not only enters every part of human life, but also accumulates more and more social wealth. The rapid spread of the new coronavirus further exacerbates the gap in market share, income and wealth. In the past 7 years, the market value of the 6 major technology companies, Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, and Netflix has increased by more than 500%. In contrast, the S&P 500 index rose only 110%. 7. Big explosion in Beirut, Lebanon. In addition to many natural disasters in 2020, a fatal explosion caused by human error shocked Lebanon's Beirut port. The big explosion killed 135 people and affected another 305,000. This shows that the negligence of a non-coordinated government can also cause tragedies similar to natural disasters. 8. U.S. forest fires. 2020 is the most active year for wildfires on record. California and Oregon were particularly affected. Although some wildfires are caused by natural events such as thunder and lightning, the vast majority, 85%-90%, of their occurrence are due to man-made causes, such as discarded cigarettes and bonfire remains. This is an unprecedented event. 9. 2020 U.S. presidential election. The 59th U.S. presidential election was held on November 3, 2020. At the same time, all 435 seats in the House of Representatives and 33 seats in the Senate are also re-elected to form the 117th U.S. Congress. In response to the appeal of the Democratic Party, many states have relaxed the restrictions on mail voting due to the COVID pandemic, making this election a record for the number of early voting and mailing votes. Because many changes have been made to the traditional election procedure, many disputes have arisen. Since the announcement of the vote counting results, the Trump team has initiated legal proceedings in many key states to challenge the election results, but so far they have not provided verifiable evidence of election fraud. No litigation has been successful so far. Biden is still president-elect. Trump said, "He won but I didn't lose." The 2020 U.S. election spending exceeded $13 billion, more than double the overall election spending in 2016. Biden was the first candidate ever to raise $1 billion, while Trump raised $596 million. In addition, congressional elections spend more than $7 billion US, and Democratic candidates spend 64% more than Republican candidates. 10. Third wave of COVID. Such as ocean waves, any epidemic will be repeated many times until the population develops immunity or finds a cure. The third wave of the COVID was starting in November. As of Christmas today, it's reporting an average of 100,000 new cases per day in the United States for 7 days. Global cases are on the rise, too. The good news is that several pharmaceutical companies have recently announced the release of 95% effective vaccines. With the intensification of the global vaccination race, people's awareness of vaccine safety has declined greatly, which may complicate economic recovery. Hope that large pharmaceutical companies and regulatory agencies adhere to professional ethics. Even with a viable vaccine, challenges still exist. In short, after experiencing a hurricane-like year of 2020, many people are thinking about what will happen in 2021. In the first half of next year, the distribution of vaccines will certainly occupy a central position. Similarly, with the recovery of physical enterprises and the slow opening of travel and tourism in various regions, economic recovery will become the focus. Just as the 2008 financial crisis was an economic turning point, the COVID pandemic changed the course of human history. Chaos can breed opportunities. Even if the unemployment rate soars to a record high in the United States, so do new business applications. Will things return to normal state? As the many twists and turns of the past year have shown, our complex, interconnected world is not static. The next black swan will always come. Wish you a happy new year.